Welcome back, Hot Wheels collectors. Have I ever got a special video for you this month? This is the 1985 complete North American release collection of Hot Wheels cars. Every single Hot Wheels released in the year 1985 out on the table for you today. We're going to go through these series by series, name by name. I'm going to put in a little index here you're going to see on the screen shortly, giving you a timestamp if you want to jump ahead to certain series of cars where you can see different models, such as the Dynamite Crossing 1985 released race set with that awesome super van as an example. And also in the background we've got the 1985 first release Super Turbo Trax 3000 playset. I do have a YouTube video already demonstrating this track set. It's a pretty cool one, so check that out if you haven't seen it. After you watch this video, of course. We've also got 1985 The Hot Ones, a 3-pack with an exclusive Porsche 911, the red one down the bottom corner, as well as an example of how Crack-Ups cars came out, both 2-pack and single-pack. That single-pack is from France. But in this collection, you're going to see all 117 Hot Wheels to show you. I am only missing 3 extremely rare Hot Wheels, which I will also show you that I have pictures of on my computer. But this is a complete collection, every known variation of every Hot Wheel released, 1985. We're going to start out with the Mainline. We're going to go through these cars name by name first and foremost, and then we'll talk about everything more in depth after we've gone through each of these, so that if you are looking for some of these cars, you can immediately try and pull them up on your eBay search browser or whatever. You put them in your collection of must-haves or looking to find. But in this total collection there are several series. There's the Mainline vehicles, which much like today are just the regular released cars in the regular packaging, single packs of the time. We've also got the Action Command vehicles. These are all military type vehicles, a full set there. Exclusives from the 3-packs and multi-packs. Exclusives from race sets, that's from the Snake Mountain race set. That's an interesting track set that I don't have, but I do have 2 variations there of the cars. And serial release cars. These were found in your cereal boxes of Kellogg's branded cereals back in the day. There's a whole bunch of those we're going to look at. The Battleground 4-pack exclusives. And then we've got an exclusive 3-pack of Ultra Hots. That's quite a rare set we'll talk about. As well as the full release of Ultra Hot cars from the single packs. Those are featuring the Ultra Hot wheels, and in some cases Blackwall wheels. Then we've got the revolutionary Crack-Up cars. Full complete set, including the exclusive 2-packs to look at all those cars. And again, you'll see all this in the timestamp if you want to jump straight ahead. We've also got the complete collection of Real Riders released in 1985. You're going to note that some of these cars may resemble cars that you've seen in my previous videos. 84, 83 for example, and there are differences, subtle differences we will mention as we look at each casting specifically, mostly to do with the color of the wheel hubs. And of course we've got the exclusive cars that came with that Turbo Trax 3000 playset. More info on both those cars as the video progresses. And 3 cars, these are odd ones out, these are from international release only, all made in France and only available in France so far as I know. But this is a North American car collection. There are lots more Hot Wheels released in 1985 throughout the countries of the world, including Mexico, India, and all over Europe really. But this is a complete collection. Enjoy the video. Kicking off the first in the Mainline, 57 T-Bird, Corvette Stingray, Datsun 200SX, Emergency Squad, Fat Fendered 40, Fiero 2M4, Lightning Gold, Gulch Stepper, Mustang SVO, Nissan 300ZX, Rapid Transit, Screamin', Sheriff Patrol, Tall Rider, Torino Tornado, Trash Truck, Turbo Heater, XT3. Now into the workhorses, 3 vehicles so far, Highway Hauler, Peterbilt Cement Mixer, Peterbilt Dump Truck. And on to the Action Command series, we have Big Bertha, Command Tank, Roll Patrol Jeep CJ, Troop Convoy, Super Cannon, Tank Gunner. And into the multi-packs from the Hot Ones 3-pack, Stamper 3-pack. We've got the 80s Firebird, the Camaro Z28, and the exclusive car for this year and set was the P911, red with the 95 on the side. That is actually an open pack. We're going to get it out and look at it once we go into these cars specifically. But here are two from that set which were not exclusives and also available in single packs. Snake Buster's car with Masters of the Universe tampos on the side. These are from the Snake Mountain Challenge playset from 1985. A very rare and hard to find complete track set, especially with the cars. Multiple variations of these vehicles exist. Here are two of them. I think I'm only missing one. Amazing, back in the day, these cars were available in baggies in select boxes of Kellogg's cereal. We've got all exclusive cars, the Corvette Stingray, Jeep CJ7, Malibu Grand Prix, Supervan, Trike Rx-8, Lightning Gold, and even a very rare version with Real Rider tires on it. Each of these cars, with the variation on the paint, was available in a Battleground 4-pack with 3 of the vehicles from the Action Command series that we've already looked at. You received either the black Super Cannon or the beige Super Cannon. The black one is extremely rare. From the Ultra Hot Stampers 3-pack, 3 exclusive cars here, including the Flame Runner, Soul Air CX4, and the Speed Seeker. Now from the single pack versions of these Ultra Hot Wheel vehicles, we've got the Jet Sweep X5, Night Streaker, Redliner, Silver Bullet, Street Beast, Street Scorcher, and the Wind Splitter. Lots of variations on each of these vehicles nearly. We'll talk more about that in a moment. 1985 was the inaugural first year that Hot Wheels introduced the Crack-Ups lineup of vehicles. These all-metal cars featured a smashable, repairable part on them. It could be the front, a door, the back bumper, a removable or pop-up back lid. Lots of different options. We're going to go through each of these cars, of course. But first, let's go through them name by name. And these names are very hard to remember. Let's try and do our best. Smackback, Hatch Popper, Fire Smasher, Smash Hit, 2 of those in 2 different colors, Speed Crasher, Stalker Smasher, Sport Crasher, and moving up one level here to the Basher 2, Wreckin' Rig, Blindsider, Basher, Crash Patrol, Hood Basher, and what's this one here? Front Ender, Side Banger, Bankster, Top Bopper, Bumper Thumper, Super Blaster, 3 of those, and finally a Bang Up Job. This one is the Smash Mobile. I have it in France packaging. It was a hard one to find loose in mint condition, but the France version looks exactly the same as North American version. There it is. That is all 24 crack-up cars released for the first year, 1985. Everyone's returning favorite and a very collectible series nowadays is the Real Riders collection. Starting out this series, we've got the 3-window 34, 40s Woody, Baja Bug, 3 variations there, Beach Patrol, Black Lightning, Byway Man, Bronco 4x4, Classic Cobra, Dodge D50, Dream Van XGW, Good Ol' Pick 'em Up, Jeep CJ7, Jeep Scrambler, Super Scraper, Split Window 63, Thunderstreak. Now I'm only missing one Real Rider here, and that is the white hub version of that Thunderstreak car. From the Super Turbo Trax 3000 playset, we've got the Wind Splitter and the Soul Air CX4. Here they both are loose. The wind splitter is more commonly found if you're finding them loose. Often these cars are not found with the sets anymore, as they were removed and taken by other collectors. If you do find the complete set, it will be quite expensive. The Soul Air CX-4 in this set, with its exclusive graphics on red enamel paint, metal base, was only found with this particular race set in 1985. The wind splitter, however, was also seen in the 1991 video VHS series of cars, and possibly in other track sets throughout the years between 85 and 91. Values on these cars vary widely, but if you can find one, and it took me a long time to get this one, which isn't in mint condition but close to mint, that one set me back about $50 US, and this wind splitter should run you about $25 US in mint condition. Both cars, like I said, are hard to find. However, that Soul Air CX-4 is nearly impossible. As for the set itself, the track set, I spent $100 on that track set, or thereabouts. I think that's what they're worth if you get a good, nice condition one with all the stickers still intact and most of the pieces. This one happened to come in a very nice box as well. And there is the back of the box. The Hot Wheels Super Van from the Dynamite Crossing Playset, a fairly small but interesting little playset, is not nearly as rare as you would think, but in mint condition can still be worth anywhere between $20 and $30. If you find it with the set, expect to pay a lot more. This is a complete set in a nice box. I believe that would be worth around $40 to $50, possibly more, with the vehicle included and in good shape. And there is the back of the set. Let's jump around slightly. We're going to go to the Mainline. A review of some of the variations, a little bit of pricing where the cars are noteworthy. I don't have exact pricing on all of these cars, it's just too much to remember, and to go back through all my records it might get a little bit boring for the video. So I will only point out rare examples, hard to find cars, and what I have historically paid for them. The 57 T-Bird, always a classic design, still used to this day. This one is metal on metal. Then we've got the Corvette Stingray, really nice tampo work on this all metal casting. And that one's a harder one to find. In later years you will see it with the gold Hot One wheels, as seen on this Datsun 200 SX in a burgundy deep red enamel. This car features an opening hood, really cool tampos on it, and I believe was only found in Canada, possibly a variation similar to it only found in Mexico as well. But as part of the North American collection, here it is. Just before we move on, I think I paid around $40 or $50 for that car. It is very hard to find. Then we've got the Emergency Squad, also known as Rescue Ranger. On the side here we have the Tampo Race Rescue. This good old venerable casting features a chrome plastic base. The Fat Fendered 40, or something like that. This car with its deep red metallic paint, a really good car on the racetracks of the time because of its low center of gravity and extreme heavy die-cast build. Really cool casting. But one of my favorites is the Fiero 2M4. This one features a black painted metal base, and either with Hong Kong or Malaysia stamped on it, as most of the castings in 1985 were available. That is a minor variation at this point. Then we've got the, what is this, the Lightning Gold. This was a pretty tough car to find. It's actually easier to find this car with real riders on it from a different year, not 1985. I think either 84 or 86. Gulch Stepper. Two variations here. One of them is a harder variation to find than the other. The variation is the wheel. I'm not sure at this time what that was. I can look back into my records, but it isn't that significant. Not like the Mustang SVO. This is one of the coolest paint jobs for the Turbo Mustang casting by Hot Wheels, and featuring those super fast gold Hot One wheels on it. This car is quite expensive. On package, expect to pay over $100 US for it, and mint loose anywhere between $50 and $70. Then we've got the Nissan 300 ZX. I am partial to this casting as I do own the real deal. In the garage I've got a 1984 T-top in bright red, just like this one actually. But it's also, I feel, one of Hot Wheels' best castings ever due to the opening doors, which is a rare feature on mainline cars especially, but all cars from the Hot Wheels lineup. And it's got great proportions, well scaled, all metal construction with those plastic bumpers and a really nice interior. This common version can be found for about $10 to $15. It has clear windows. And this car here I came across randomly. I only spent about $20 for it, but it has blue tint windows. I have never seen any other cars like this ever in all of my time searching or looking on other people's forums. So if you do have a blue tint window variation, I'd be curious to hear about it in the comments, and where you found it, how long you've had it. Moving along, we've got the Rapid Transit. This is a plasticky looking school bus with a very thick metal base, which also makes up the seats. It's quite a heavy vehicle despite all the plasticiness of it. And then we've got the Screamin'. This is based on the Army Funny Car casting from 1978. The body actually lifts off of the Funny chassis in a hinge type mode, showing a roll cage and incorporated metal engine with big zoomy pipes. This one is a blister pull for me, and it's quite stiff, so I wasn't able to open it much more than that without possibly damaging it. I'm not going to try. It's quite an expensive little piece. It's worth about $20 to $30. Then we've got the Sheriff Patrol. Two variations here. The hard variation to find is the one with the single door Tampo on the side. The only difference between the two is that Tampo. And of course a bunch of different base variations with Hong Kong, Malaysia. Hong Kong with stamp over and Malaysia on top, or blank, so that doesn't really come into effect when I come to the value of these cars, but the four-door Tampo version is quite easy to find. Tall Rider. Two variations here, once again a wheel variation. Again, I don't remember which one was hard to find. And anyways, an interesting kind of created fictional vehicle from Hot Wheels. The Torino Tornado, previously known as the Torino Stalker. This is based on a Ford Gran Torino car and comes with a really nice paint job. A very similar version was released in Mexico. The only difference really being that the base would say Mexico on it versus Malaysia. This is a hard car to find in good shape and can run you anywhere between $50 and $100. Then we've got the Trash Truck. A pretty cool casting, big old dump truck. Quite realistic actually, not sure exactly what type of truck that's based off, but I do believe it is based on a Mack truck. Then we've got the Turbo Heater. This is another created car, similar to a Dodge Daytona of the time period. It has an opening hood which often cracks the lower portion of the window if forced open, especially on these older models as the plastic becomes brittle. The common version here has basic wheels. An extremely hard to find version I've only seen twice, this being one of them, has the gold Hot One wheels and a much deeper blue metallic paint on it. That car was quite expensive. I think I spent around $60 for it. A common car, the XT3. Not much to say about that. And from the Workhorses line in the single pack blister mainline kind of feature of the vehicles, we've got the Highway Hauler with the race team Tampo on the side. This is a plastic box, and it does feature opening doors on the back. Those are worth about $20 to $35 nowadays, mint loose. The Peterbilt cement mixer. This casting has been around for a long time. This is the first year we see it, I believe. And it has the recessed exhaust pipes. And what I mean by that is you see the top tip of the exhaust pipe is actually a smaller diameter than the main portion of the exhaust. That's what delineates first release versions of these Peterbilt tank trucks. And of course the fact that they would have either Hong Kong on the base or Malaysia stamped over the Hong Kong, rather than, say, a Hot Wheels logo found in later years. The same true for the Peterbilt dump truck. And this one has the non-recessed exhaust pipes. It was also available this year with the recessed exhaust pipes. I do have that one somewhere. I couldn't find it for this video, but I have it on a 3-pack in the packaging still, so I just couldn't find it. Nice that this truck has the functioning dump box with the bin on the back. You don't see that anymore on this model in later years and to this date. The Battle Tank features a 360-degree rotating gun with tilt. Really cool casting. Similar to years prior, this one features the star on the front of it. Otherwise, basically the same as other years. Then we've got the Command Tank. This is a cool new graphic for the military vehicles. Introduced now in 1985 with the black, white, and gray type look. Well, not really white. Variations of gray. 360-degree rotating turret with tilt. And of course that drop-down hatch revealing the soldiers in the back, which is pretty cool. These are metal on plastic. 2 variations of the Roll Patrol Jeep CJ, both identical, other than one has the basic wheels and the other one has the off-road wheels. I think both are fairly easy to find. And moving on to the Troop Convoy. This is a cool truck with a removable back plastic cover for where all the soldiers would sit in the back of that. We've got the Super Cannon here. This is the common version for this year, as there are 3 different paint color variations to collect. This one was available in the single pack, however, and possibly some multi-packs. Pretty cool. It's got the tilting 3 missiles on the roof with the guns on the side. All metal. The Tank Gunner has I believe a tilting turret, but I'm not going to force it, and a drop-down window. Metal on plastic. There is supposedly a variation where this one has a chrome center front basic wheel. I've never actually seen one in real life, and to be honest, it would be too easy to forge really to bother trying to collect one. So I don't really count that as one of the vehicles I don't have in my collection. Moving on to the Hot Ones 3-pack exclusives. I said I'd get that Porsche 911 out of the package that we looked at the start of the video. And there it is. That is the exclusive car in this set, the P911, metal on metal, red paint job with the 95 Tampo seen on previous versions back when that car used to be black in previous years. The Camaro Z28 was seen in future track sets as well as single packs, so it is non-exclusive. Although I believe it may have only been found in the Stampers 3-pack set for this current year. Same true for the 80s Firebird in metallic blue. This one features the tan interior, black plastic base. One of the rare cars I am missing, one of the 3 out of the 120 total cars. I have 117 here. Anyways, the rare version has a red interior, red plastic interior. So anyone that has a source on that, I would be interested to hear about. Continuing on into a race set exclusive, known officially this year as the Snake Busters car, but previously as the Cannonade casting. This was from the Snake Mountain Challenge set. There are 3 variations. One is a Zamac version with Tampo. There are 2 here that I have with the Ultra Hot wheels on them or the Gold Hot One wheels. All the cars feature a nifty opening canopy, which is typical of the Cannonade car, revealing an interior with a single cockpit. Pretty cool little casting, and a dark blue plastic base. Onto the Kellogg's cereal plastic baggie cars. Again, I mentioned these were found in the cereal box in a plastic bag, so what a find back then. Goes to show you how the times have changed. You got an actual all-metal Hot Wheel. These range in values. I've seen anywhere for the Corvette right up to like $20 to $30 for one of these. They're pretty hard to find in nice shape. And these are all exclusive paint jobs to the 1985 Kellogg's cereal. Got the Jeep CJ7 and the what was this? The Malibu Grand Prix. One of the more desirable and recognizable ones was this metallic blue Super Van, which is a really collectible vehicle. I've seen that one go up $30 to $40 in some cases where it's mint, like this one is. The Trike Rx-8, probably the least valuable of the set, and probably one of the harder ones to find. Actually, this car was discontinued earlier than the other cars found in the cereal pack because of its pointy shape. It was often found protruding from the plastic into the serial and was a concern to mothers of the time. Then we have the Lightning Gold, or no, sorry, Thunderstreak. Thunderstreak here with the black wall wheels and a exclusive Tampo variation. And if you were extra lucky, you found it with real riders. This is a fairly hard car to find. I think that one cost me around $30, and whereas the other one was more like $15 to $20. That covers the serial cars. On to the Battleground 4-pack exclusive Super Cannon casting. You would get one of these two vehicles mixed in with three of the Action Command vehicles that we already had a look at, and a box set of 4 vehicles. These ones were the exclusives, however, and at the time the black one was the hardest to find, and still is, obviously. The beige version will be used in future years, and therefore was no longer exclusive to that set in future years. At the time of 1985 it was, but this black version with the yellow spider on the nose, extremely rare. It can also be found in single packs in later years, but it was very rare even then. So I think that car would be worth around $100 to $200 if found mint in packaging. As it was, I spent I think $75 for the black version and significantly less for the tan version. As for the Ultra Hot 3-pack Stamper set, this would have been a very similar set to the Hot Ones Stamper 3-pack set. All 3 cars in this set were exclusive, and this one has a Zamac finish, the Flame Runner, the Solaire CX-4 with its opening rear canopy revealing an engine, this one fully painted. Many times in other castings you'll see that it is not painted because of the cover of the body. Apparently the cars were painted with this still attached, but in this case, whoa, that one just rolled off the table. In this case, this car would have been painted and then assembled, which is interesting. Then we've got the Speed Seeker here. I believe this one has the, yes it does, the tilting windows revealing the 2-seated cockpit with futuristic steering wheel. All metal cars. These do have some suspension to them, which is interesting. And they are very fast, much like the Gold Hot One versions of the cars. Well, not those cars, but Gold Hot One version cars. Moving on to the single packs of the Ultra Hot cars. First up, we've got the Jet Sweep X5. Probably one of the least popular vehicles in the series. A brand new casting for 1985. And not worth much more than about $5 or $10 this day. Interestingly, it was only ever used for the Ultra Hot series, both in 85 and 86 with a Zamac finish instead of this kind of Spectre Flame yellow. This car features an opening canopy, a 2-part die-cast turbine base and engine with a plastic windshield insert. So it's actually quite an interesting car, very narrow, terrible on any sort of booster racetracks, but in my opinion it's actually kind of cool once you know a little bit more about it. Then we've got the Night Streaker. This is based on the Porsche 928 casting. A solid metal body and casting with opaque windows and no interior ever on these models. They feature a Spectre Flame purple paint job, one with black plastic windows, and this extremely rare version with silver plastic windows. I knew of this car only through the original mid-2000s Hot Wheels website, back when they had a whole list of every single Hot Wheel ever made. So I put it on my collector's chart to find. Lo and behold, like 10 years after I knew about it, I finally found one at a flea market of all places. Paid $5 for this absolutely stock bone mint blister pull. And, ooh, get back here. There are no customizations to this car, as you can tell by the rivets. And interesting, on the base, it goes by yet another name, Predator. I wonder if this one does. This one does not have that. It's blanked over. Just another example of how many different base variations there are as the years continue, especially seen in the mid-1980s. Now on to the Redliner. This is I think we've only seen this casting a couple of times as well, previously with a red enamel paint job, and as far as I know, never to be seen again either. So another very limited run on those cars. 3 examples now of the Silver Bullet, formerly based on the casting known as Large Charge. The Silver Bullet is an all-metal die-cast casting with black opaque windows, no interior. And these cars have some subtle differences. We've got one with the silver metallic paint on the body, another one with a dark Zamac metal finish, and then one with a light Zamac polished finish. Tampos are all the same otherwise, and once again a host of base variations, too many to mention at this point. All cars are worth approximately the same, around $5 to $10 in mint loose condition. And here we have the Street Beast, based on the Race Bait 308 casting, more realistically known as the Ferrari Gt B 308. We've got one with the dark metallic blue paint job. This is more of a, well, it's kind of a Spectre Flame, but mine's kind of started to turn metallic-y looking. And then we've got this more aqua green Spectre Flame version with the Ultra Hot wheels on it versus those Blackwall wheels, strangely, on the Ultra Hot car. Not sure exactly where this car fits in and how it came to be, but it's clearly part of this series. Or perhaps it was some sort of exclusive that I just haven't learned all the information on. It is the harder of the two to find, and this car here can be found with several slight paint color variations, although all are essentially the same. We've got the Street Scorcher here. This is a hard Ultra Hot to find. This one should cost you around $15 to $20. It's based on the Spoiler Sport van. It was only found with the single window and parachute on the back, as the double window variation no parachute has long since been history. An interesting kind of Spectre Flame red. All these vehicles have a Spectre Flame finish to them, although as they age they start to look a little metallic. Wind Splitter, based on a BMW M1, green with yellow graphics. It will be seen in future years with aqua blue paint and white graphics. This one is metal on metal, black painted base, and the black plastic louvered canopy on the back where the window might be. When it comes to the crack-ups, there are essentially only several styles of car with many different paint jobs and just as many different names to go along with these cars and their paint jobs. What I'm going to do is reorganize these cars instead of being in the order they are as to the same casting, so you can kind of see all the castings that came out, and I won't go through all their individual names yet again. Pricing on these cars varies widely with supply and demand of to what people are trying to fill into their collection. Some cars are worth more than others, such as exclusives from 2-packs. The one we're looking at here is actually a 1986 2-pack. This one here was quite hard for me to find for some strange reason, so I had to pay a little bit extra and buy it on an international card, although the car itself would be the same in the North American market. So we'll leave that one up there. It's not getting opened, and we'll reorganize these cars into some themed casting names for you. Now that I have the crack-ups all organized by casting type, you can see the multitude of paint jobs all released in one single year, with more years to come. 86 and 87 also producing crack-up cars with new paint jobs and many repeats from this year. We will go through their names. Some people have their own names for them. These names that I am using for the casting I have found from some reputable people and collectors online. This one is known as the 200SX casting, based on what I assume to be a Nissan 200SX or Datsun 200SX. It features, just like all the crack-ups, an all-metal base, with the rear portion of the car being the crack-up portion. And it might be hard for me to demonstrate single-handedly, so I'll just show you one that's open already. You can see that the back part rolls and the hatch catches there. So oftentimes, if you're buying these loose, they're going to show signs of chips and damage. These cars in particular are susceptible to losing their louvered plastic latch completely from age and play. Then we're on to what is known as the mid-engine. This is a strangely rear-engine type car by looks of it, due to the 6 cylinder heads or whatever those are, carburetors sticking up out of the back of the vehicle. It features a front bumper with plastic hood. It's usually pretty easy to trigger. Well, anyways, I've got one here that's already open. So again, rotating piece with a plastic clip that often wears out on this car, and once that's gone, you cannot hold the front bumper in the repaired portion. Then what is known simply as the service car, because it can be seen with fire tampos, police tampos, taxi tampos. This is one of my favorites, big old heavy 4-door car. Similar to maybe a Chevy Impala or something. Man, you really gotta smack them hard, I guess. There we go. Dented door on the side, and of course rotates to repair. Variations here. This one only had the Hot Wheels City Taxi tampo on the doors. This variation has a lot more tampos on the hood and front, or the hood and the roof, I should say. And I think these two are the same other than the base variation, Hong Kong or Malaysia. These ones here, again, I think this is a Hong Kong, Malaysia type base variation. And that's the other side, State Police. The fire department, once again, we've got a tampo covered version here with the hood and the roof, and another one without hood and roof tampos. Fire department chief. Among my favorites of the crack-ups is the stock car. Really like this one. This has an all-metal crack-up kind of component, which is the front. There you go. Metal hood with metal catch. These are amongst the most robust of the cars when seen in play with condition. And this number 50 version, quite valuable. I think actually both of them are quite valuable. Probably worth around $30 to $40 per car. There's only the 2 paint variations of those, and we're on to 3 different variations of the exotic. It's basically an exotic supercar type thing. It, much like the service car, has a roll side fender component. And these are also quite sturdy when found in played with condition. Got the gold version, yellow version. The gold version is exclusive of the 2 packs. These ones could be found in single packs. I think Top Bopper is the most fitting name for these castings of vehicles, and that's why. Goes to a shattered, smashed driver component. You see the steering wheel is even flattened, along with the seat and everything, so what a wreck for the driver of this vehicle. The green one is the hardest one to find, and I believe that was part of a 2-pack exclusive as well. I don't remember what I paid for it, but it was a lot. Then you've got the pickup truck. This is the only paint variation this year of this casting. The pickup truck has a repairable back portion, as you can see, with a metal catch. The camper portion that lifts up is highly susceptible to damage on played with versions, and almost never is found with the vehicle. It is quite an expensive rare piece when found mint like this, worth around $35 to $45. And then we've got the ramp truck. It has a front grille component that rotates. Rather robust vehicle, except for the plastic tilting ramp. That's often found missing on these vehicles from crash damage. It is also an expensive vehicle, and the only one of this year in the paint variation, yellow. It's worth around $40 to $50. Both of these will only be seen in one more paint color, green, I believe in 1987, and metallic red, I believe 1986. When it comes to displaying and storing my crack-ups, I prefer to keep the cars in the assembled repaired mode. 1, because I think they look a little better, and 2, because I find that the components are harder to stay in repaired mode if they've been left in unrepaired mode, due to the spring technology that allows these things to crack up upon impact. Therefore, although the springs may weaken over time, I feel that it's better that the car is able to retain its repaired feature than to not be able to maintain that feature at all. Real Riders. These were the premium release vehicles of 1985 and have since gained a lot of value over the years. Very collectible series of cars released over a period of many years in Hot Wheels. These all have metal bodies, metal bases, plastic wheels with tires, and in 85 it seems the white hub wheel was most prevalent. Only a few cars featured the gray hub wheel. The first car we're looking at, alphabetically, is the 3-window 34. This is a Hi Raker vehicle, meaning that the back axle does jack up. This is also the most expensive Real Rider car we're going to look at in this series. It's a hard one to find with these white rims, worth anywhere between $40 and $60 mint loose, and as high as $200 when found in good packaging. The rest of the cars are worth anywhere between $10 and $40. The 40s Woody, also a Hi Raker, seen previously with gray hub wheels in 83. Then we've got the Baja Bug in 3 paint variations. Blazing Bug on the side of this black one, as well as this red one. The hard one to find in this 3 set is the one that says Baja Bug on the side versus Blazing Bug. Otherwise very similar to the Blazing Red Bug. Then we've got the Beach Patrol. This is a tougher one to find as well, worth about $35 or $40. And of course we'd seen that one before with gray wheels. The Black Lightning. That's a cool car. And we've got the Byway Man. These were from 3-packs, I believe, Stamper 3-pack exclusives. And this is where you can see the variation of the non-toolbox version, if you look at the corner of the pickup box, versus this one has a toolbox tucked in the corner. That delineates the toolbox and non-toolbox variations. In my experience, the non-toolbox version seems to be harder to find, and the one I have here isn't exactly mint. It's missing 2 of its fog lights on the headache rack, but both are quite hard to find, worth around $40 to $50 each. The Bronco 4x4 casting with its chrome motorcycle on the back. Let's just spin it around so you can see that as well. That's a nice casting. We've got the classic Cobra with its opening hood, featuring die-cast engine. And the Dodge D50. This is a Hi Raker as well. Worth around $40 for that one. This is the harder one to find, the Dodge D50 Hi Raker with Hot written above the back wheel. And that one's worth around, I think, $50 to $60 in mint loose. Mine is nearly mint, showing some slight play wear. Of the Dream Van XGWs, these were both also 3-pack Stamper exclusives. The green one is the harder one to find. And these castings from yesteryear, well, that one's tight, featured an opening door on the side. There we go. Let's take a peek in the interior. Had a very 1970s kind of dreamy interior with a lazy dog laying on the floor and looks like a rumpled bed in the back. It's a love machine. So we'll put that one down. And then we've got the good old pick-em-up, better known as the 56 Hightail Hauler when seen in the basic wheel configuration. Nice old Ford pickup with red motorcycles. That's worth about $50 to $75, making it probably the second most expensive vehicle from the Real Rider selection in 85. And we've got 2 paint variations of the Jeep CJ7, both with white rims for this year. This is a cool one. It features a coiled up snake, or looks like a rattlesnake on the hood. Yep. Rattle, rattle, rattle. Spitting out flames. Worth about $25 for that one in mint loose. And let's go back over to here. The Thunderstreak, I think I called these ones. The Thunderstreak. So we've got 2 variations here. At first glance, they both look the same. They're not very expensive to buy, about $5 to $10. The orange 8 on the front versus the yellow 8. That is basically the only difference between the two. Note the Tampo color variation. The orange 8 is the much harder variation to find and should be worth significantly more than a yellow 8. Split window 63 Hi Raker car featuring white hub rims. And Super Scraper. This also has the toolbox version, non-toolbox version. Once again, I find the non-toolbox version is harder to find, hence why I still have a fairly beat up, chipped and missing 2 fog lights once again version of that versus the, I think this was a blister pull on my behalf. Finally, I'm just reaching here, that's why I'm kind of picking them all up. Jeep Scrambler. Love this casting. That's worth about $30 to $35. And we'll put that down. That completes the Real Riders for $85. And as an added bonus, although I don't collect a lot of international cars because they're just too hard to come by here in Canada and quite expensive, I've got a kind of a beige orangey colored Peugeot 505 from France. This is metal on metal. Another France released kind of an enamel green Poison Pinto, and then a basic kind of blood red Murata Stalker with gold Hot One wheels. Also a France car, I believe. Yes, it is. I'm not really sure the value on these, you know, varies where you are. If you live in Europe, these are probably much easier to come by, but not only do you have to pay cross-ocean shipping to get these things in most cases, they seem to retail anywhere between $20 and $100 per car here. So for that reason, I don't collect them. And also, I got to keep the collection kind of within control. There's only so many Plano cases you can put on a wall. Now going to the computer to show you the last 3 vehicles I don't have in my collection and hope to see on eBay shortly. The 700 millionth commemorative Hot Wheels 1985, you can see right there, it is a Highway Hauler. What do we got for the notes? Not much. Unknown value, blah blah blah. These are all my notes from back when the Hot Wheels website had all this information. And as I've mentioned in other videos, I kind of scammed it all and slammed it into several gigabytes worth of Excel notes with pictures. We had talked about the Thunderstreak. That's a picture of my orange version there, or orange number 8. Above it's the number 8 with yellow. Below it is the car that I am missing. It is a white hub version of that same car. Appears in this picture has a yellow number 8 on it. 1985. This was a picture I also got from the Hot Wheels website back in the day. Probably would be a very easy wheel swap, so not something I'm willing to spend a lot of money on. And there is the version of the Snake Buster car. That's mine up there. The silver paint job. And below we have the Zamac version I was telling you about. Otherwise identical. Not much information on here about that either, but that is a car I am out looking for. That would be a hard one to duplicate, so that one probably could be worth something. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this 1985 video. I wish I could get these types of videos out more often for you. It takes quite a while to make this type of video. A lot of piecing together little bits, footage, and doing my research to kind of bone up on everything I learned when I was buying all these cars and be able to recite it for you here all at once without tripping over myself too much. Stick around though, I'm going to try and get one of these types of videos out, you know, around once every month and a half or so. The next one will, of course, be 1986 Hot Wheels, and there are lots of cool cars there as well to look at. Not quite as many as 1985, but still a great selection of everything from basic mainline, some very rare variations, Action Command, body swappers will be a new one, crack-ups, flip-outs, real riders, construction, everything, race sets, more turbo tracks, 5000, lots of cool cars. So anyways, stick around for many more of these types of videos and lots of other reviews. Happy hunting.